Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya ala salat, hayya ala salat, hayya ala falah, hayya ala falah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, la ilaha.
Alhamdulillah, nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh wa nu'minu bihi wa natawakkal alayhi wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyi'ati a'malina. Man yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa man yudlil fala hadiya lahu. Wa nashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu. نشهد أن سيدنا مولانا محمد عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق الناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم. قال الله تعالى في كتاب العزيز بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم: من يتق الله يجعل له مخرجا ويرزقه من حيث لا يحتسب. صدق الله العظيم. Allah Azza wa Jalla said in His book, whoever it is that is God conscious, God will provide a way out for them, and God will give them sustenance wherein they didn't imagine it, or they didn't consider it to come from. They didn't estimate that they would find sustenance from that place from which it came. من يتق الله, whoever it is that has God consciousness, whoever it is that is aware of God, whoever it is that makes God in front of them. In this world, we know, for example, that the only one that is keeping this roof up is God. That the pillars and the columns that are supporting the roof, they need support. And the nails that are in the wood need support. And the metal in the nails needs support. And the atoms that are in the nail need support. And the quarks that are inside the atoms need support. And whatever is inside of them needs support, because everything is in need of support. The knee bone is connected to the thigh bone. There is nothing in this world that is manifested within time or space except that it is in a state of dire need. Time is something that you and I cannot. Time is nothing but a series of movements. If I have a clock, but the battery dies, there's no more time. If the sun was to stop moving, we wouldn't have time. Time itself is weak. And space itself, space is weak. Space is weak. Because as much as the universe might be expanding, at some point they realize it's contracting. Space can't stop that. Time and space themselves are weak, but time and space, they subdue, they conquer, they capture. Everything that we know is contained within time and space. So everything that we know about time is contained with time and space, and as a result, everything is weak in that sense that it can't escape time and it can't escape space. I am here sometime and somewhere. You are somewhere, sometime, doing something. And no one in creation, nothing in creation escapes from that. Time and space rules everything, and time and space themselves are weak, and that's why God is not in time and space. That's why we don't worship Jesus. Time and space cannot do, nothing inside time and space can do anything against it. It's weakness covering weakness. وَنَحْنُ ضُعَفَاء, and we are weak. And we know that Allah Azza wa Jalla is the one who is making that car go by and making the sound come into my ears, and the air that I breathe into my lungs, and the benefit I get out of it, or the harm that comes through it. When I eat food, there's an angel even there. Even the food itself can't benefit me or harm me. It has to work, it has to deal with an angel. Who it has to ask God, is this luqma, is this morsel going to be a benefit or harm for this individual? So even the food, no matter how nice it's prepared, it has no power. It itself has to go through an angel, who itself has to go through the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's just veils of weakness. I'm talking to you, I have my veils. I'm talking to you, I have my weaknesses, I have my circumstances, I have my baggage, I have my understanding or my lack of understanding. I have a connection with you or lack of connection with you. It's a veil. You have your ears, you have your baggage, you have your emotional state, you have your situation. That's a weakness, that's a veil. It's just weakness talking to weakness, veils talking to veils. You and I are walking in darkness, living in darkness. It's darkness on top of darkness. Unless Allah intervenes. So as I got up from the ground, I raised myself up. Allah's name is Al-Rafi'. Allah is the one who raises, not Abdul Latif. And if I sit down, that's Al-Khafid, the one who lowers things, or I can say debases. Allah is the raiser, Allah is the debaser. No one can do anything. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Allah is the raiser, Allah is the debaser. You can't, and nothing is happening but Allah's actions in this world, and nothing happening. Allah is the Fatah, the one who opens the door. Nothing's happening but Allah. Nothing but His actions. The only thing you and I see, because nothing can do, nothing can stop being done to, unless Allah's command comes there. وَلِلَّهِ الْخَلْقُ الْأَمْرُ. And for Allah is the creation and the affair. وَلِلَّهِ الْأَمْرُ مِنْ قَبْلُ وَمِنْ بَعْدُ. And for God is the affair from before and after. Al-Amr. Al-Amr is life. Al-Amr is what you and I are doing. Al-Amr is today. It's Friday. Al-Amr is the beginning of March. It's March 2nd. That's Al-Amr. Al-Amr is the moment that I'm standing in, the moment I'm talking to you in, and everything about it. This moment is happening all over the world at one time. And everywhere at this moment, at this time, you're seeing nothing but Allah manifesting Himself through His attributes. Nothing happening but that. So anytime someone speaks, anytime someone speaks, that capacity to speak is pointing to the one who can really speak. And anytime someone has kalam, that kalam is pointing to the kalam that really exists. And any one time someone hears, that sama' is pointing to the sama', the hearing that is actually occurring, that has always been, had no beginning, is now, and it has no end. La ilaha illahu, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illa ant, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illahu. La rafi' illallah. There is no raiser but Allah. La nafi' illallah. There is no benefactor but Allah. La razaq illallah. There is no sustainer but Allah. La nasir illallah. There is no helper but Allah. La khafid illallah. There is no debaser but Allah. There is none who gives victory but Allah, none who debases but Allah, none who knows but Allah, none who gives knowledge but Allah, none who takes knowledge but Allah, none who provides happiness but Allah, none who provides sadness but Allah. There is no giver of health but Allah, no remover of health but Allah, there is no friend but Allah, and there is no enemy unless Allah makes it happen. There is no being but Allah provides it or creates it. There's no lack of being unless He removes it. There's no breath but He gives it. There's no breath but He takes it, ta'ala. There's nothing happening but Allah. And so these names, these asma that manifest themselves, these names that point to His existence, that's all we're seeing and that's all that we know. We said Al-Fatah, the one who opens the door. Al-Jami', the one who brings everyone together. That's all that's happening as we speak. Ya Fatahu, Ya Jami'u. So when He says, Man yattaqillaha, whoever it is who is God conscious, let's look at it deeper and know that all the names go back to that name, Allah. Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, Al-Malik, Al-Quddus, Al-Salam, Al-Mu'min, Al-Muhaymin, Al-Aziz, Al-Jabbar, Al-Mutakabbir. All these asma, the ulama say there's 99 names that we agree upon, but Allah, because His essence has no limitations. His names have no limitations. So those are the names that you and I agree on, that we hear from our tradition, we understand that, but we don't limit Allah. All the names, all the actions are pointing to those names, and those names are pointing to that essence, and that essence has no limitation. That essence is what is, and everything else is just waiting. Man yattaqillah, whoever it is that is conscious of God. But look at what He said. Man yattaqillah. Whoever is aware of that word, Allah. Allah, that word, that name. Whoever is aware of that name, that word. When I say awareness, I'm saying like wiqaya, because the word taqwa comes from this word wiqaya, which means a shield. Many people are in this world and they're afraid of this person's going to hurt me, or that person's going to harm me, this is going to raise me, or that's going to lower me, or this is going to provide for me, or that's going to take away from me, or this debt is going to ruin me, and this wealth is going to make me rich. But I'm asking you, and you ask yourself, Man huwa al-ghani? Who is the one who's rich? And who is the one who provides, who can make someone poor in an instant? So you think that you and I have to be scared about that job, or the one who created the job? Do you and I have to be aware or scared, or have to make plans about getting rich through a book or some kind of pyramid scheme or some kind of nonsense that people know what's going on? They use our weakness of faith against us. Whoever it is who is God conscious in the sense that they take that name, Allah, and they use it as a shield against every other name He has. They take the name, wiqaya means shield, and taqwa is to implement the shield. How are you going to use that shield? You're going to use it, you're going to run from Allah to Allah. The creation has nothing to do with it. They can't harm anyone or benefit anyone. No one has any inherent ability, essentially, to be able to do anything whatsoever. Matter of fact, when you see a grave, you see a body about to go into that grave, and you see that body laying there, they're showing you their true state. That's how they were their whole life. And when you see that body laying on that washing stone, the slab, to get the body washed, you see how that person's laying there, and the water's hot, too bad. If it's cold, too bad. If this fool doesn't know how to wash a body, that's your problem. Because you can't do anything about it. All that's showing you is exactly how it was that you were in this life. You thought you had power. You thought you had ability. You thought you could control. You thought this and you thought that. And you were in a state of ghurur, of delusion. But had you been a person of taqwa, had you been a person who takes the shield, that name Allah, and used it against Allah, how do you do this? Because there's nothing else to use it against. There's no one to fear but Allah. There's no one to trust but Allah. There's none to do but Allah. There's none to undo but Allah. There's none to love but Allah. There's none to care for but Allah. And what is connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Muhammad Rasulullah, and everything that branches from that. مَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ. Whoever it is that takes this name, Allah, like a shield and uses it against Allah's names. How is that? What do we say? You teach the kids these names. Allah. Why is the name Allah first? First things first, because it's the umbrella. It's that name. It's the mother of all the other names. All the other names are subservient to that name. So when you say Allah, it brings all the names together. It's including all the names at one time, but that name is so much stronger than all the others because it includes all of them. So when someone gives you a bill, here, pay this bill, $800 for a phone bill, the first thing you're going to call upon is yourself. And how is that the case? Oh, me. Oh, subhanAllah. How am I going to take care of this? If you had taqwa, if you had that shield, and you understood that Allah is the one who causes you to be debased, makes your knees crumble. Allah is the one who causes you to feel that depression of not being able to sustain yourself. If you take that name Allah and use it against what He's doing, take yourself out of the picture. You were the same before. You are the same individual, the same no talented, non-doing, no money having, dead body. Like you were before you received that bill, you're in the same position after. It's just now you realize it. So that's how we find out what's really going on with you and I. So when you and I are unable to, for example, something happens in our life and it comes down upon us and we look at it and it's not the way that you and I want it to be, guess what happened? Allah happened. And guess what manifested? His names. And guess what? His names are unlimited. So that's right. Everything you're seeing is pointing to him. And guess what? If you don't like it, that's because you worship yourself. It's ego worship. Allah, I don't like what's going on. Translate that into modern standard English. Allah, I don't like the way you're running this universe right now. You need to do it the way I like it. Which involves me getting everything I want. And until that happens, you and I have a problem. So you and I both know that whole thing right there, you take that like a football and you punt it out of the field, just punt it. You just pow, and it goes right out of the stadium because you and I have nothing to do with that. But rather you and I take that name, Allah, man yattaqillaha. Whoever it is that who has consciousness of Allah. People think that taqwa is about being afraid. Yeah, be afraid of God's station, but God is not a tiger in the jungle waiting for you to make a mistake so he can trample you. He doesn't need you that way. He doesn't deal with you that way. And if that was the case, then God wouldn't have given me hidayah when I was 20 years old, knowing all the mistakes I have already made up to this point. Allah doesn't need me enough to be waiting in the jungle to trample on me. And that's also an egotistical. What does that say about my ego? Like Allah has nothing else to do than wait for me to make a mistake so he can punish me. As if the universe is not in the same position that you're in. So whoever it is, man yattaqillaha yaj'alahu makhraja, whoever it is who has that shield and takes Allah's name and puts it in front of all the other manifestations. The baser. Ooh, Allah. قُلِ اللَّهِ وَذَرَهُمْ فِي خَوْضِهِمْ يَلْعَبُونَ. Say Allah and leave them in their vain talk playing. It's Quran. Say Allah. Just say Allah. Well, how do you deal with this? Say Allah. How do you deal with say Allah? What about say Allah? What? Say Allah. Say Allah. Allah, Allah, Allah. And so there's nothing else to say. Because that's all that's happening right now, man. Look, if all we're seeing is the result of God's names, then what you think is happening right now? All we're hearing is Allah, 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 Allah. But that's the slow version. It's happening so fast we can't hear it. And that's why when you and I start saying that name and that word, and we get into that groove, we start to feel so good because now we're in tune with the universe. Man yattaqillah, whoever is conscious of that name and takes that name and puts it in front of them like a shield, they'll find that every other name that Allah manifests just gets absorbed by it. And Allah will provide for that person a way out. What has Allah provided for that person in that means of having a way out of what? Because that individual ran from Allah to Allah, Allah gave him a way out of himself. Allah gave him a way out of herself. Because the reason why you and I got into a position where we feel like we have to be reminded of these things is because you and I are looking at ourselves like we can do, and what we can do, provided. And every time you look at yourself, if Allah loves you, He will smack you. You know why? You know why? If every time you look at yourself, Allah will smack you, and the reason why that is because He knows how beautiful He is. And He will not tolerate you looking at anything but Himself. Is that vanity? That's called al-haq. That's the truth. And that's how truth is. And when we see reflections of that in this world, say something not true. Watch what happens. Do something not true. Watch what happens. Say something true and see what happens. The truth doesn't stand for falsehood. And there's nothing besides the truth but falsehood. So when you and I start looking at something besides Allah, and not, what do you think Allah made us for? Allah made us to, you think Allah made us for Escalades? You think Allah made us to fill up those houses? You think Allah made us to fill up the garments? You think Allah made us just so we can have other kids? You think Allah made us so we can fill cubicles? You think Allah made us so we can sport fine jewelry? You think Allah made us so that we can sit in cafes and shoot the breeze? Or did Allah make us for Himself? Because I'm sitting here telling you what is the fact. It is true. And you know it's true. And I know it's true. And a tree's not going to do that. Even though it wishes it could. That's the trust that Allah put down. And they all rejected it. And man took it up. You know the truth. And I know the truth. And by God, it's the truth. يَجْعَلَهُ مَخْرَجًا, and He will provide for him a way out. What is that way out? He'll give him a way out from his or herself. And isn't this telling? وَيَرْزُقُهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبْ, and He will provide him or her with sustenance from wherein they would not have imagined before. It goes to show you that almost all of our problems, when it comes to us forgetting the truth, it comes because of that word. We are afraid of not getting sustenance. Sustenance is not just the food that you eat. Sustenance is the fame that you want from people. Sustenance is the notoriety that you want from people. Sustenance is the support that you want from your friends and family. Sustenance is every single thing that happens to you in this life that your ego, which is blind and has no capacity of understanding whatsoever, is somehow trying to judge. That dirty old thing is trying to judge the pristine nature of God. That's like trying to wash your clothes by putting some dog stuff in the washing machine. How is the ego going to be able to judge what is and what is not right? How is my dirty, selfish, self-involved, blind, wannabe king, emperor, tyrannical, egotistical, dirty, good-for-nothing self going to be able to accurately judge what it is that God is doing for me in this world? But it's not working by itself. The ego has a little friend called Shaitan, and here's what he does. The ego starts to estimate because it's such a accurate tool. And Shaitan, being the craftsman that he is, he comes over to the ego and says to the ego, that's correct. You aren't getting what's due to you. You should be having a lot better because you are so awesome. You deserve this, and you deserve that, and you are entitled to this, and you are entitled to, just like I was. Ana khayrun minhu. You remember me? Shaitan hasn't learned his lesson. And that's his mantra. You know the mantra. That's what he says. That's his dhikr. People think dhikr is bad. You know, don't say Allah too much, because you go crazy. And that's what the Prophet told the Sahaba to do. Make dhikr until people think you're crazy. May Allah make us majaheen. Not make us just fools. Tell me I'm crazy. Because of that sanity, I don't want that. So the ego is there, and the shaitan comes there, and the shaitan, what does the shaitan do? He promises you what? Think about it. Allah says this. Allah says in the Quran that shaitan promises you poverty. He promises you impoverishment. If you don't do this, if you don't steal from this bank, you're going to be poor. If you don't lie to this person, this is going to happen to you. If you don't do this and you don't do that, you're going to be without. That's what causes you and I to not give people their rights. If I treat my wife like such and such way, then she's going to have an edge upon me, and I'm not going to be able to do what I want to do, so I'm going to have to oppress her. The person does it out of fear, because what happens is their initial weakness comes out. You and I are essentially weak, man. We're essentially da'if. We have no power, no ability, and we know it, and you know it, everybody knows it. We all know it, but we don't like to be reminded of it. So what happens is that as soon as we are left to ourselves for just a moment, here comes those fears. I don't do this. You know what I'm saying? If this Imam doesn't hurry up, I'm going to be late for work. If I'm late for work, you know what I'm saying? Then I'm going to be poor. If I'm poor, then, and it's just like a domino effect. Shaitan promises you poverty. But here's the secret. Do you know how you get out of the shaitanic promise? You acknowledge the poverty. That's all you have to do. Shaitan acknowledges your poverty. Shaitan tells you about your poverty. You don't know anything. I know that's right. You can't do anything. Look at that guy doing better than you. Always has been. And always will. Those people don't give you the proper title that you deserve. That's because I was born with that one. I'm going to probably die with that one. Cool with me. The shaitan promises you things and promises you poverty. And that, isn't it amazing? How did Adam and Eve get out of paradise? Do you know how it happened? It's the most absurd thing when you think about it. He promised them eternal life. Where were they? In sand. You know why we're called in sand? Because we forget everything. It comes from the word nasa, to forget, nasiyat, to forget something. That's why you have to say the same thing over and over and over again. You know, you have kids. Boy, how many times I told you, clean up the house? I know, I'm sorry. Next day, okay, what I gotta take away from you, man? What I gotta take away? Next thing is no negotiations anymore. Now it's pain. When you bring the pain on your child, and I'm not saying, I'm from Georgia, I don't care what you think. We have this little rule that if you do something crazy, you will feel a sting effect on your behind. Well, that's what happens to, that's what Allah is doing to us. Allah gives us a warning. Okay, oh, whoa, I'm tripping. Another warning, oh, because we're like children, man. Our nafs are like children. And then, but why does he do it? Does he do it because he hates us? Why does that mother slap that child in the behind the way that she did when he is 25 years old? In public. Why? Because she loves him too much to see him acting like that. Because she knows that, like all those other children, he may end up in prison. May Allah save our community. Look, Allah does these things to us because He loves us too much. And most of the time we get hit and beat up with things that you and I have done to ourselves. And when we get smacked and when we get beat up, all you have to do is run back to mama. And you know what I'm talking about. It's a metaphor. Run back to the one who's, if your mother's slapping you in the behind, you have to turn around and hug her. And say, I'm sorry, mama. Because if she loves you, which she obviously does, her anger becomes mercy. And then she starts crying. Boy, when are you going to speak up? I don't want to hear you no more. You know I love you, Mom. But Allah loves us 70 times more than our own mothers. 70 is not a... 70, you know, the Arabs back then, 70 didn't mean like, you know, it's like versus 68 or 72. 70 meant a lot. Right? You know how many times I did it? How many times? 68? Oh, that's crazy. You know how many times I did it? How many times? 69? How many times you did it? 70? 70? It's just a random number. It means a lot. Allah loves us 70 times more than our own mothers, and there is no end to that. وَمَنْ يَتَقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَيَرْزُقُهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. Allah provides him from where he did not esteem it to come from, or deem it to come from. And do you know where that was? From Allah Himself. That's why He starts it off. وَمَنْ يَتَقِ اللَّهَ. And whoever is aware of Allah, conscious of Allah, takes that name and puts it before everything. And the reason why He has to say that is because He shows you in the end. And He will sustain him from where he did not imagine it to come from. He didn't think Allah was going to do anything for him or her. She didn't think it was going to happen. Now the question you and I have to ask ourselves is, where does sustenance come from if it doesn't come from Allah? If I'm afraid that I'm not going to have money, who should I ask? If I'm afraid that I'm not going to have, I mean, these are things you shouldn't want, but if a person is in a situation where they're afraid they're not going to be famous, they should ask Allah to change their heart. But before they get to that point, they realize they have to ask Allah too. Allah make me famous, even though that's not, we don't want that. Look in your life, and look in your state, and look in yourself, and understand that you getting up in the morning and praying your little Fajr prayer, may Allah bless you and me to do so to the day that we die. But that is the beginning of this relationship. It is not even the middle of it. It is not even the end of it. This relationship is an invitation. This relationship is a feast. This relationship is a welcoming committee to have you become exactly the most perfect and blessed individual that you can be. But the irony of it is that you and I cannot be that until we leave ourselves at the door. One of my teachers in one of my spiritual escapades, I was asking him questions. He didn't, you know, he was patient with me. I told him what I thought, what I think, what I thought. He said, look, when you're ready, leave your idols at the door. You and I have to leave our idols at that door and come. Whatever you think you know about Allah, erase it. And lay on the ground, lay out, admitting the following things. Allah, I don't know, you know. Allah, I cannot do, you can. Allah, there's no help but that it comes through you, and you know how entirely needy I am. May Allah give us tawfiq. وَاسْتَغْفِرُ اللَّهَ إِنَّهُ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ وَلَكِنْ عَذَابُهُ شَدِيدٌ. الحمد لله اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق الناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره مقدار عظيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. We read this verse in every gathering and every khutbah because it's such a tremendous verse. Allah says, "O you who believe." He didn't say, "O Muslims." So we're not dealing with riffraff right now. Being a Muslim compared to being a mu'min, you know, you got the common people, you have the elite, and you have the elite of the elite. May Allah make us from those people. Top dogs, VIP, top shelf. That's where I want to be. And he said, "Oh, you who believe, ittaqullah haqqa tuqatih." Be conscious of God in a way that is appropriate for Him. In a way appropriate for Him. May Allah make us muttaqeen.
Amen.
When I say muttaqeen, I don't mean, look, my religious life is not just a long dhuhr prayer. My religious life, my life with God, the real life, the life of reality, the life that's based in facts, is not a salah. It is not simply, we reduce it to a simple mechanics. You walk up with proper wudu, you put your hands here, not here, in between, like so. Move your hands slightly forward like so. I'm giving you the Maliki descriptions. And then if you follow this opinion, you say Allahu Akbar, and then you would fold your hands like so. Then you keep your eyes hid. Don't talk. Don't look around. Not too many movements. Tajweed has to be perfect. Don't recite the same surah twice. And some of us live our life like with God as if we're literally standing in prayer. It's just a robotic maneuver that has no meaning. What do I mean by that? Not only are we standing in prayer like that, but we're so concerned about every nook and cranny because, my salvation is based upon my efforts. So let me make sure that my prayer is absolutely perfect, that we're so engrossed in that moment that there's not even a God there. The God is the salah that you're praying. You're worshiping your own prayer. But what happens is that your life becomes a giant, it's like you take shahada, you say Allahu Akbar. And then just go. Meanwhile, all the signs of God's presence are being missed. All the intimacy of God is being missed. But mashallah, you got the prayer down. You got your life down. You are perfect. Good job. The whole time never having experienced God's presence one time. Some of us think that we're going to get into paradise, which is a problem because you think that's why God created you, to give you paradise. In saying so, we're saying that paradise is better than God. So, in order for me to get into paradise, I have to do a perfect everything forever. And the whole time, where is God in any of that? So if I'm lucky, here's what happens. If I'm lucky, God will mess me up so bad. I'll say Allahu Akbar, and here I go, and here he is looking at me like, come, right? I'm not trying to make him into a person, but just so we understand. So here comes the proverbial, and this happened to me. I'm giving you a true story. I was in Mecca. The first time I ever went to Mecca, I was praying salat there. And it was the best prayer I've ever prayed in my life. And I'll tell you what happened. I had on a Sudanese stove and all white, crackling. The hat, everything had the garb, I had the izar, I had everything was going. Beautiful sunny day. I'm praying in front of the Kaaba. And I'm looking at the Kaaba as I'm praying. And I remember thinking to myself, this is the best prayer I've ever prayed in my life. Someone pulled the carpet underneath from when I was standing, because it was time to clean the haram, and I was standing in the wrong place, so the guy's like, sorry man. He pulled the rug, and that my prayer was gone. But I realized at that moment that I was worshiping my prayer. I was worshiping the prayer. I wasn't thinking about God. Isn't it funny that in our life we find God in the most disturbing ways? It's never usually in a place where we want it to happen, or how we want it to be. Like, oh, I went to the Kaaba and the heavens opened, and I saw the angels coming and descending, and all the prophets appeared, just like the Isra and Mi'raj. And now I'm a wali, and I write books without thinking. I write 2 books at one time. It's amazing. That doesn't happen for anyone. But what happens is that God gives you things that mess you up. They take you, they grind you up, and they just grind you. It's like life is, you're just between the mortal and the pestle, and you're just being ground, man. Like, you're like, what am I, like a sesame? Like a seed? Just, But Allah is showing you who you really are. And if you know who you really are, you will find Allah. But as long as you and I, right, put on, I'm not trying to knock anybody. Everyone's beautiful. Everyone looks beautiful. Wear whatever you want. I don't care. Just don't be nude. Right? What we want to do is we want to have this thing where we just put on the garb and learn all of the rituals and get into paradise because of what you and I have earned. That's the worship of a businessman and a businesswoman. But if Allah loves you, one of the ways that you'll find that out is you are going to get smashed. I don't know what it is, brother. What's up? What's wrong? I became Muslim, took Shahada about a month ago. Yeah. Man, my life was falling apart, man. This thing was going to be good, Like, I became Muslim in Ramadan. Like, actually about 2 weeks before Ramadan. I got the group hug. The group hug. 3,000 men, hairy men, hugging me, asking me for a dua. I don't even know what the word means. Then in Ramadan, everyone's loving and high-fiving and passing plates, and I'm eating sweets from Pakistan, wherever that might be. Everything is just nice. Ramadan's over, can't even get nothing. It was very traumatic for me. As soon as Eid came in, it was like, that's what the mosque sounded like. Just wind blowing through it, tumbleweeds. And here it comes. Mom has a problem. Dad has a problem. Friends are gone. But now I understand why. Because when Allah wants you, He takes everything from you, so He can have you for Himself. Think about that for a second. And think about every problem you've had in your life. Think about what problems might have even let you come into the mosque. Maybe you weren't coming before. Think about the problems you have while in the religious quote-unquote life. And examine them and look at them and understand that every one of them is tailor-made for you to end up in God's presence. May Allah put us in His presence. May Allah take us and put us in His presence. Allah, we don't want to come to you. You just snatch us. Allah, we don't want to have to strive. We can't strive. We don't know we have iPods. We don't know anything about striving. Just snatch us. Just take us, put us in your presence, because you're Allah. And no one is more merciful than you. No one is more giving than you. No one is more kind than you. No one is more generous than you. No one is more noble than you. And no one can outdo you in generosity in any of the good characteristics on any slave. And I know that my own mother would do just that for me. Allah, we ask you that you take us by the hand. You enter us into your presence. You make us people of your presence, of your hadra. You make us people of your presence, and make it that we never, our eyes in our head and our eyes in our chest are never outside of your presence, Ya Rahman Rahimin, because everything, every other nadar, and every other look, and every other glance is nothing but pain. Allah, give us your mercy and forgive us. اللهم اغفر جميع المسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات صلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وسلم الحمد لله وأقم الصلاة.
What